right, so today's video we have a stadium spectating, and this one is an interesting one, and I'll explain why here in a second. It says, "Hello, long-time subscriber, shit my pants. I know you'll recognize me because I'm in the chat a lot, and people laugh when you say my name. Anyway, I'm giving you replay codes for the stadium match I just had that finally convinced me I need to take a break from Overwatch. It's unfortunate, but I find the match quality terrible because there are always one or two inexperienced players, but the unfortunate part is they always seem to be on my team. When watching the replays, keep in mind that I'm 58 years old and sometimes feel at a disadvantage due to my age. My reactions aren't those of a youngster, but I feel like I can play the game and that someone with my skill would usually creep up to a higher rank, but I find it impossible on my account as it seems tainted somehow. I almost wonder if the game often puts me on the side with the lower MMR because I never leave and always try to carry. Am I just delusional and I'm the problem? This is not an outlier. Almost every game is like this. It seems like I'm trying to carry, but just can't. Maybe you can tell me if I'm just seeing through biased glasses. The one problem I know I have is that when we get behind and I'm doing my best to be what my team needs, I do get anxiety. You can even see it as my hands shake in the later matches, kinda like from adrenaline. Anyway, without your help, I am about to give up on this game. Maybe you can provide the light I need." All right, so this is an interesting take on this because there's a lot here. So we'll just start off with your build. We'll go from there. We'll let you know what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and hopefully this will lead to better results for you in the future. So first of all, cool thing about Stadium, I can look at the builds. So we just look at your build here. You're going with Cross Orbal. Biotic Orb launches an additional orb of the other type. That's fine. I'm not going to like over-analyze your build because everybody's builds will be different. Ability power, attack speed, armor, all this seems fine. Okay, let's see how it goes. Are you moving on up? Now you're orbiting. Okay. Now you're doing it, you know, keeping your orbs out, which is good. A little bit too, I'm not gonna over pause this for a second, but like, one thing that I found with Moira, and again, it's not gonna be as simple there. Like your tank was clearly in like this spot of being in a duel. So what you would want to do in that situation is try to help with that duel a little bit, right? It's kind of like, you ever play, I don't know if this is a good example or not, but like, you ever play Sigma and like the other Sigma has a Brig with them and the Brig is constantly helping the Sigma, but then the supports aren't helping that Sigma? The duel doesn't go that well. So what I'm saying is when you see the Orisa versus Orisa just smashing against each other here and you're kind of in the same spot, don't be afraid to make sure your Orisa stays a little bit above the HP. Doesn't mean don't do damage. It just means keep an eye on your Orisa for a while. The resources are good right now. That's just a good Orisa ultimate. Yep. So yeah, I mean, so far this is kind of like a normal start. Again, remember, and this goes for anybody, when you start off playing Stadium, don't be like discouraged by the first round because it can go really quick. And like you're building into something stronger in Stadium, right? I've won a lot of games where you start off like you're down 2-0 and you win like 4-2. So if your team for some reason struggles here, that's still okay. Now obviously you're gonna probably have people say like go on more flanks and do things like that, but I think like what I want to start with is see how the game flows. Like right now you start maybe going up without. Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with the timing on that. I think you went a little bit early. Like next time, like, make sure you can see where they're at with their ult. Like, you just kind of start blasting there like Danny DeVito. But, like, it's not, like, a huge deal. That's what I'm getting. Like, that's fine. There you go, keeping your tank alive. Remember, don't be afraid to orb them. I would have probably tried to use the healing orb on your tank prior to that, but it all works out because they're going to heal up anyway. Lucio has the perk or the item, or I know it's the perk with the power with the thing. Okay. This is kind of a good indicator to kind of see where you're at. And this is already one of the issues I'm seeing. Like you're kind of playing back here, right? Your teammates are up here. They're all going right here. Now your mindset is like, I don't want to push that far, but your teammates do. And I always say this when you have everybody playing together at the same pace and playing like, even if like you think it's a bad play, it's better to have 5 people doing one thing in Overwatch than have 3 people trying to do 3 different things, right? So your team could use you here. You could, whether that's doing a little bit of extra damage to the Orisa or the Soldier, whether that's keeping heals up on your teammate, isolating out the Kiriko. But if you find yourself typically just ending up all the way back here and not being there on the team fight initially, go a different way. Thankfully, your teammates get the kill, right? But you're playing definitely further back than I would like to see. I think you could really help your Orisa in this situation, too. Like, imagine being able to not only heal your Orisa there, but also put a little bit extra damage on that Orisa, right? That would be super helpful for your team. Like, right now, like, your Orisa's going in, you're damaging, and now the Orisa on your team is in a spot. Obviously, now you're going to get rolled by a bunch of ultimates. That's just ult stacks, right? Your team had bad ult. But one thing I noticed already from you is that your pacing was a little bit off. And that means that, like, you gotta find ways to be with your teammates, right? Because otherwise you're gonna struggle a bit. But it's the first round. Sometimes it takes a little bit to kind of get warmed up into the game too. At least I've noticed. So, like, I'll take this into account as also, like, you're just taking some time to get warmed up. Could be your first game of the day. Could be this and that. Like, it happens to me. Like, when I'm not at the same pace of what I could be, you know, that can happen. So, round 2. Obviously, Stadium Cash will be kind of all over the place. As Moira, I find that you can farm it up a little bit quick just because of your orbs. Looks like you're opting for the Biotic Orb moves 50% slower while it's healing or damage. I mean, if that's your playstyle, that's fine. You kept your armor, attack speed, you're up to 35% ability power with Nano Cola. So far, I think everything's fine with your purchases, too. Yeah, I think this is all good. Next round, see how it goes. I want to pause this for you because I don't think you realize you might be doing this. You are, like, basically forcing yourself all the way away from your team. And I think this is a part of a problem that you're going to see happen more and more. You shouldn't default like this. Like, I want you to understand, look where you're at in comparison to the rest of the team. Not only have you taken the scenic route there, you've also backed yourself up to where your Orisa is right here. Now, yes, could you fade in? But why would you want to waste a cooldown early on like that? That could help you later on. Why wouldn't you want to be up here already doing some right-click damage or getting better orbs? Instead, you're so far back that you're going to lose so much more value. And those orbs now that you bought the item, run this hero. Remember how you just bought that item that slows the orb down? If you're that far back, once it gets to your teammates, it's going to stop in place. So, this is much better. Like, you're up with your team now. You're in a healing range. You can damage the tank. This is much better, right? But I've seen a few times you default to falling back, and I want you to get out of that habit, right? Keep in mind, I'm not saying don't have good position, but running away from your teammates and playing really far back is going to be a problem overall that you'll find will add up over time. That's what will happen. So, I'm glad you're playing aggressive here. This is what you want to see more of as Moira. Sound high, my mic? Maybe I'm just, like, missing, like, talking to my mic. This is good, though. I want you to see, like, what happens when you're being more aggressive. I would try to use your fade a little bit quicker there. You didn't use it when they started doing damage to you, and that's how, like, yes, you got away with it then, but I think, like, you're going to get one shot if you don't react to that a little bit. So. There goes the damage up there. And I'm watching. This is fine. Teammates have to now be aggro. Be aggro here. Don't be afraid to ult. Yeah, this is great. I don't mind this ult at all. Your wrist is going for you. That's fine. I don't want you to corner yourself there. All right, it worked out. I was just afraid of you getting rolled there. Also, I could hear the skin on Moira there easily. With the mythic skin. The macaroni and cheese. Okay. Next up here, just throw a damage orb up top. Probably even sooner than... Yeah, there you go. Right idea, because damage orb will bounce off those walls up there, and it should go well if it hits somebody with that. Ability you got. Okay, now you're staying alive here. Wait a second, throw an orb out. Orb's fine. You can hide now. Your wrist is going to be dead there if they push in anyway. So if you go in, you're going to fall over. Do one more orb for damage. Yep. Yeah, that's just an ult charge build. I think you made the right play dying on the bot there. Not trying to stagger yourself. Like, I think it's very important to recognize that in the game, and I think you did just fine. So far, like, your playstyle is very, very chill. I do really want to get you on the side of being with your team more and not default into hitting your S key. I think that's a few times I've seen you do that. And you're seeing much better results when you're with your team than when you're not. Like, right now, you should be already getting up to your Orisa, even though you just got Javelin back. You're in range now. That's fine. Throw a damage orb or a healing orb in a second. Healing orb, healing orb, healing orb. Your wrist is going to fall over if you don't help. Healing orb, healing orb, healing orb. Yep. So, like, right there. Like, these are the moments you're talking about, hey, like, you know, I feel like I'm getting to these games, and, like, maybe the game is, you know, put me in the this and that because I'm trying to, carry too much, etc. Like, right there, you have full opportunity to make a huge play. Full opportunity to make a play. You could have orbed sooner. You could have helped a lot quicker than that. Instead, you fall behind on heals because you start to damage somebody and don't pay attention to your tank's HP. and then now your tank falls over and you're losing a team fight. So the point I'm getting at here is I feel like what you're doing is you're doing a lot of like sitting back and waiting for something. You're just like, I'm going to wait for this. I'm going to go. If I damage, I'm just going to damage. I'm not going to balance that. There needs to be a time in where you recognize, okay, my tank's at 70% HP. I don't want to let my tank get to 25% HP and then have to catch up on heals on them. If you start throwing a healing orb out when they're at 70% HP and then you start to heal them, your Orisa's probably not going to die because remember, Orisa has these major cooldowns. You see how like you're not really playmaking? You're kind of just, you're hitting your buttons when you feel like, you know, you're like, okay, I'm going to hit my button now. You need to add more like reason to why you're going to hit your button or what you're going to do to help your teammates stay alive there. Thankfully, they get off the bot. But anyway, I definitely saw that was a situation where your Orisa could have easily, I'm not going to say easily stayed alive there, but you definitely could have helped. And I think that's important to remember. So you got multi-ball, launches 2 orbs. Yeah, this is fine. Cross-orbital and multi-ball. This is just kind of fitting into a play style. You got Cyber Venom for the Dalen ability reduction. Yeah, that seems good. Got a bunch of other stuff. Keep in mind, there's also an ability that a lot of Moris have been grabbing recently that slows people. And like, they'll go the multi-orb comp, and I just get slowed on cooldown. I'm just like constantly slowed. There is a availability eventually to get to a point of that too, so which could be pretty fun. Okay, anyway. This is round 3. This is kind of where everybody starts to pick up their builds, where a lot of like what you normally see in like an Overwatch game like shifts way more now. It's going to be more, lot more damage. This is where like a lot of characters start to scale higher. This is also the round where like you'll start seeing Cassidy's one-shot you. I know it's not a Cassidy on the other team, but stuff you have to be prepared for. Again, I want you to see that you're defaulting really far back. I'm not saying that you don't want to, you know, it's okay to be a little bit more cautious on your play, but like when you make a part of your default play, that comes from. You're in range to be able to do damage, so this is fine. Remember, you have these orbs that are, you know, pretty good. You left your Orisa alone. Okay, again, this is like where we're talking about. You could sit there and try to blame your Orisa all day long, but you're not setting your Orisa up for the same success that the other team is doing. You gotta look at your comp. It's Lucio Moira. You need to be a part of making sure that your tank is staying at a good HP. So, like, now what you need to do is make sure your orbs are being there efficiently. Make sure you're not just, like, ditching your tank to go for that side angle. It's all fine to go for side angles and damage, etc. as Moira. No one's saying that part of it, right? Nice shot, by the way. It's more along the lines of, like, recognizing what the other team is doing, what the other team has, and where you can help your tank survive that, and then make the plays. If you're letting your tank die all the time, and you're like, yeah, like, what's going on? You know, I'm getting into these like really bad games, etc. Well, you need to be able to help your tank, right? Like especially in this mode. Chris is gonna have ult soon. This ult's good, by the way. Honestly, that was just a nice shot by Juno. I would have tried to use Fade out of there the moment that you could. I didn't see what the cooldown timer was, but I think it was just in time. You need to start hitting those buttons a little bit sooner when you're on Moira. Okay. I know your Ashe was low, but I get why you're going to point. I won't touch on that one. Remember, you can throw a healing orb towards your... There you go. Yep, now keep your teammates alive. Keep your teammates alive. Now next to you. Keep everybody alive. Yep. You have plenty of healing resources here, by the way, too. This is a tough one to stay there. Get a one more orb set there. Only thing I would say there is, like, I don't mind you running the way, but I think you could have set up one more thing of orbs. I think that would have been super helpful. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but, you know, that would have been a good spot to recognize I need to throw a healing orb out here before they get me. Because you were clearly going to fall over, but that could make or break the game. That time you just running back to point. So I think what happens to you is you default to a very passive play style, and that's where a lot of your struggle is happening. And that's very fixable. When they're doing damage, they focus too much on the tank. I mean, yeah, but like sometimes it's also just like, that's like your closest available spot. And if their playstyle is very safe, I'd rather see, you know, just making sure you're keeping your teammates alive and balancing the damage, but you can balance it on a tank is what I'm saying. That's fine. Like you don't need to go for backline pressure or look for like a squishy target if, you know, they're a little bit out of the way and will get you killed, you know? So, okay. So item wise, I'm just seeing what you've built on. You got Phantasmic Flux. I do like Phantasmic Flux. That's good. Nano Cola, and you kept Smart Orb. So you're at 45% on your ability power, so you're very into your ability power, but, you know, with Cross Orbital and Multi-Ball, that's fine. You're building into your orbs. Let's see what happens next. Honestly, a cool idea. I don't know if that was effective or not, but it was cool. There you go. Those healing orbs are fine. There it is. Keeping your resources up high. Okay, chat. I want everybody to hear I want people to tell me if this is a good suggestion or not, based off of the play style that Moira likes to play. Do you think for Moira here, grabbing the damage boost one would be effective based off of the play style we've seen? So there's a damage boost one on Moira, where when you right-click your teammates, it damage boosts them. But it also gives you your resources back. So if you like this more default, like, very safe play style, I actually think you would benefit from the damage boost one. Because not only do you damage boost your teammates, you also gain resources from your teammates. You don't even have to damage the enemy if you don't want to. And if you find that you're playing super safe, I think that power might actually be a good addition for you. Because if you're not, like, again, if you're not going for, like, really wide flanks, you're taking, like, isolated 1v1s. I mean, obviously, this is a 1v1 created by the Freya coming, too close to the team. I wonder if, like, maybe that would help you a little bit to where you have this safe play style, so you can play a little bit safer, you can damage boost your teammates, and you get your resources back from just right-clicking your teammates, even if you don't have anything to do. I know there's going to be some more like, oh, don't go this build, etc., but I think, like, sometimes, like, there's a build that's good, but the build may not match the play style. And I don't know if, like, going, like, a flank play style so far from what I've seen is going to be the play style that will settle for Moira here. I just don't think that will be the case. I mean, I could be wrong on that one. I very much could be. But it feels like that play style that would fit better. Like, this is because the Frey isn't spawned, right? But you're with your team still, right? Now, imagine, like, you're in this situation, you could be damage boosting, your tank. If you want to, you can still be doing damage there. And you get to still have that safe play style. So, as, like, a round 5 power, I mean, heck, you could probably even go that round 3 instead of all the other orcs for now. And then do that round 5, etc. But I think there's a lot you could do. Not a bad right-click there. I'm going to watch you back away. That was kind of on your Lucio beat. This is a good elf, by the way. Good aggression. Nice job. Let's go. There you go. Nice kills. And you're with your team. Again, playstyle based. I think you would benefit from that, because your playstyle, you don't even try to set up. And I'm not going to try to, like, make you go and set up around the map and get on an angle and then fade out. Your playstyle is very much with your team. And that's going to be okay if that's what you want to do. So let's build around that more than try to do a bunch of different things. There you go. Healing Orb's fine there. A little bit distracted by the damage there. So I get what you were trying to go for there, but I want you to understand that when your teammate backed away to this corner right here, what you would want to do is actually isolate yourself back this way to help your teammate heal them and also do damage. Well, you kind of put yourself into a 1v2. Now, part of that argument could be that, like, they were both low and you stay there, but I also think, like, you can back up to a safer spot. So just be careful of that. Again, I just think you might tunnel vision sometimes, and I want to kind of get out of that habit of pay attention to what your teammates are also doing, and that will help your pacing. Because I noticed that it was kind of a problem there.
Progress is seldom won with ease.
All right. You said that's a horrible perk? Okay. I'm going to show you why. You said it's a horrible perk. I'm telling you right now, this perk is going to eventually pick up. I'm going to show you. The reason why this perk could help a player who plays a very safe playstyle is this, right? You're saying it's a terrible perk, right? Let me show you this. Is it as good as, like, Mercy's damage boost? Absolutely not, right? I mean, obviously you would like that, okay? But, like, watch this. If your playstyle is to sit back with your team the whole time and kind of just chill, right? And you need to do damage to the team, well, what if they're playing that far away, right? And you can't get them. And a lot of players with this playstyle play really safe and don't want to go on the flank style, which is fine. Moira has different playstyles. Watch what happens when I do this. Ready? Look at my resources when I'm damage boosting my teammate. So you never really have to go in there and try to farm that damage. You don't have to. And if you're playing a very safe playstyle, that's why that perk would fit the playstyle of the player that we're watching. See? See how I'm, like, using all my healing resource? Now watch. Damage boost my teammate. Don't even have to touch the enemy here. I don't have to go anywhere near the enemy to be able to keep my resources going. Now, granted, this could be more towards round 5. It could be round 1 if you want, based off a playstyle, but, like, it's called empowering you. Again, I do think that cross-orbital and multi-ball are good. I'm just saying, if we look at the playstyle, I don't think this one would be that bad. Let's see how round 5 goes. For your round 5, you got Phantasm. When using Fade, spawn a stationary copy of the last orb. Okay. Extendrils was purchased, by the way, here, which is the one that increases the range of your biotic orb. That's not bad based off of the build you're going. Should help both sides of that. Yeah, everything looks fine here. I mean, variability power base. We'll see. That's good. Good job on your placements. Let's go. It is. Now, obviously, your orbs will heal for... This might be where you see a little bit more out of your team. Okay. Everybody's chilling. See what I mean, by the way, chat? Of the playstyle? Ult right here. I mean, you ult in here, I don't know if it's... Okay. I mean, the good news is you've made plenty of mistakes this game to work on. Because I like, this is recognizing, when I'm looking at this, and don't be afraid to, like, add the kill feed sound, etc. You lost 2 of your teammates. Now, can you win in Stadium in 3v5s? Yes, I see it happen all the time. But it's usually based off of a very good timing. And you go, what do you mean by a very good timing? Well, I can talk about that. What I mean by a very good timing is that if it's 3v5 and you know they've used their ultimates, then yeah, you can probably hit your button and get away with it. But if you're at the beginning of the game and you have your ultimate this early on, there's a very high chance the other team is right there with you for the most part. The point I'm getting at is those ultimates right there and ult like that could be how you win the rest of the game. So you can sit there and get mad at your Orisa for ulting. That all started with you. Your ultimate was not ideal, and now your team is kind of trying to retake this, right? You can sit there and be like, oh, you know, I get random teammates and this and that, and like, you know, they could be playing better, etc. But like, that right there, decision-making wise, was not ideal for anybody in that situation. And now you and your Orisa, instead of having solid ults on retake, don't have ults at all. And that, of course, is a problem, right? And that becomes a part of that problem.
They're moving that barricade.
Here we go, I'm ready. There's a soldier right next to you, by the way. Literally standing on top of you. They're doing the healing station build. I love it. Okay. So you know what this build is. Make sure to heal your teammate. There you go. This ult, yeah, I'm okay with this. You're building your ult quick enough. Target focus. If the soldier's running around doing the healing station build, then what you want to do is you want to put your power elsewhere right now. Keep in mind, there is a soldier behind you, though, still, too, so don't forget about him. Yep. Yep, very tunnel vision. Okay. So when I say that you don't have to worry about the soldier at a certain point, yes, but also remember the soldier's behind you, so look for your teammates to heal them. If the soldier's going to run this healing station build, which is basically you just run in circles, they're going to come back to your team. They get more value out of standing on top of your team than they don't. So what you're doing is you're looking at the soldier, but the moment something in front of you, like, pops up in front of your screen, it's like you're like, oh, well, never mind. Don't care about the soldier anymore. Soldier flanks behind, kills your Ashe. Your Ashe could survive that. You keep your teammates alive. So again, this isn't like you're getting bad teammates and, you know, the game's trying to put you into uncarryable situations. There's a lot you can work on that will help fix these games or, like, make these games better for you. This is one of these situations of you have a bit to go. And I think that, like, if you can learn from these mistakes that you're making, I think you're going to climb more and you're going to start to realize, like, well, yeah, like, you're going to have games with teammates who are not playing as well, right? It happens. Heck, I won't play as well in some games. But you can control what you can control. And so far, I've seen multiple times out of you where your ult usage is... Yeah, target focus is based off of what's in front of you, not you. Like, no. If someone's in front of you, you tunnel vision and you stay there. You don't use your cooldown. Sometimes you'll play really far back. Sometimes you'll, you know, wait to heal your teammates. There's a lot you can fix decision-making wise that I think will make you win more games than what we're seeing so far. So, like, right now, your teammate's on cart, so you fade to the point. I'll give you a little bit of wiggle room on that one, but there's also somebody behind you. Your teammates would probably need assistance behind you at some point. Your Lucio's still on the bot. Keep in mind, there's still an Orisa behind you. So don't be afraid to help your team if, like, there you go. Yes. Now what I would do, and just to point everybody in this situation what I'm doing, I'm paying attention to two things. I'm looking at what's in front of me, and I'm looking at the clock above. This is how I generally don't let the card issue happen. Sometimes, obviously, you can't control that. But what I'll do is I'm like, okay, I know my Lucio's there, but I'm going to keep an eye on the cart. I can always fade to the cart. You got to be quick. But, like, I'm paying attention to what's in front of me. I'm also kind of, like, angling towards the cart. We'll see what happens here. I'm curious to see how this goes. You're doing fine. Okay, now you're going to ult. Correct ult usage. I see what you're talking about with, like, what you do with your aim. The best advice I can give you is this. Just play every round like it's round 1. Straight up. Not from, like, a playstyle point of view. But, like, if you're getting into round 5 and it's an intense moment, What I would do is I would just try to play every moment like it's the first team fight, where I'm just chilling and I'm not worried about that. And then I make my decisions mid-team fight. Obviously, I have a lot of experience doing that, but a lot of it can take time of just being like, okay, in this situation, if I can just settle here, we're probably going to win the team fight. Easier said than done. It takes time. But yes, I get that on the adrenaline part of that. Okay, so now we're going to the next round here. We'll see what your build is, what you've bought item-wise, where you're going next. You got Champion's Kit, which is great for the ability power. You've got a little bit damage reduction here, which is, I mean, that's not bad. You can go survival. You have free flight on coal, and you kept your smart orbs. Your build is fine. Like, it's, again, I think you could find a little bit more... Like, for example, you bought the one with the orb where you, like, leave an orb there, etc. I haven't seen that one be used effectively. Again, which is why I suggest a more chill type of play style that could benefit the way that you're playing. Now, obviously, I could say get more aggro. If you want to get more aggressive, you absolutely could. But I think, like, based off of what I'm seeing, you want to kind of stick with your team a little bit more. So I really would start to prioritize a bit more of building around your play style. Even if I tell you this is the best build to go, or like this is one of the best builds, if it doesn't fit your play style, it may not be as good. An example, actually, speaking of Moira, I recently did the video with, remember when Arcs came in, it was like, oh yeah, this is how you play Moira, this is like the tankiness, and was like literally like giving me like legit like do this, and it took me like, what, 5-6 rounds, maybe a whole game, just to be able to adapt to a play style I didn't play a ton of, right? Because I wasn't used to it. So maybe you need some, practice and trying other play styles too. Maybe there's a play style as Moira that works better for you that you're not even realizing because you're not even trying to do that build. So if for some reason you keep trying to do this Moira build and you keep getting stuck in these games, maybe it's time to adjust the build. Maybe it's time to be a bit more aggressive. Maybe it's time to go take off angles and come back to your team to heal them, right? There's a lot that I think you can improve on in that area that I think will really turn the tide of your games. Because right now it feels like you're almost leaving it up to, at times, for your teammates to go get a bunch of kills, when in reality you can be assisting with that even more so than you are. Vice versa, your teammates are relying on you to keep them healed, and then you'll get tunnel vision, and then the same thing happens. So there's definitely some like playstyle adjustments that need to happen. And I've kind of explained a few of them and where you can go in that area, so hopefully that will help you kind of steer you in the right direction, and then you can find ways that will help you improve. Now, even there, like, you notice how much pressure you're taking off your Orisa? So next time what you would do is find a better angle to do that type of play. If you want to try being aggressive, that's fine, but do you notice how you tunnel visioned and stopped looking behind you? There's other people there to deal with. Again, I'll reference this with your teammates. You could have any teammate in the game, they're not going to be able to prevent you from running into their team at an angle and not looking at their team hoping for the best. Like, that's a mistake that you made there, right? So, nice kill on the soldier. Keep in mind, you don't need to play too aggro up here. You can go for the kills, but their spawn's going to be right there, so be careful. You're going to want to fade away from that. You can pop your ultimate. I'm assuming their Orisa has the ult based off of that play, but who knows? Some Orisas just like to be aggressive. Okay. Let's talk about this. Freya in your spawn, and they threw an ult at somebody that wasn't you. Two options. Keep your teammate alive, make sure they're okay, or try to damage the Freya and hope they don't kill your teammate. What happens? They kill your teammate, you kill the Freya who would have died anyway because of their positioning, and now you're stuck here, in a 4v4 where it could easily be a 5v4 because they had hacked up their ultimate. Again, tunnel vision's become a huge problem here that I see you're having, and I think improving that is going to help. But you're just being aware of, like, I might be tunnel vision. I need to adjust that. This is what I mean about tunnel vision. It took you very, very long to put yourself into a corner to see the soldier. We watched the soldier do this type of play where they came this way. Your reaction was the tunnel vision. It's the same reason why when you went up and like kissed the Orisa, you were just standing right in front of the Orisa, and so I really do think what you're doing is you're legitimately just forgetting about everybody else in the game, and you're just, when you see somebody, that's it. Like, you're locked in on that one hero, that one person on the team. You are locked in on that, and you're not making any adjustments after that at all. 0 adjustments will be made from you because of that exact play. And I'm noticing that out of you. Like, there's some things that you can absolutely improve, in my opinion. Let's keep on seeing what happens. Not bad in orbs. Nice shot on the Kiriko clone. now tunneled again. What's your teammate's HP at? What's going on? Do they need help? See the tunnel? You haven't checked anybody else in your team at all. And that's where the problem's gonna be. Is when you're constantly in tunnel vision mode like that and you're not scanning the field, you have so much mobility. You have the ability to, like, you could literally fade this way, end up behind them, have full vision of the team, throw a healing orb this way, do a little bit of backline pressure and stay there, right? But you're not. You're just, I see an Orisa, I'm locked in on the Orisa, anything else that happens is gonna happen. Like, I want you to see this. Like, look at you as, like, let's go up here for a second, right? Like, look at you. So you're right here, right? Look at what you're scanning. This is you. You are locked in. You're locked into this Orisa. We've already seen this happen. You don't care about anything else happening. So we're watching. You're still staring. Okay. Now you're at the point of, okay, I need to help my teammates. I need to throw a healing orb out here. And that's where we're at. Let's just take a look at your cooldowns. Your mortar orbs in 3 seconds. So you don't have mortar orb right now. So you're eventually we'll get to this, right? So that's why I want to get your cooldowns right. So you're watching. Still haven't looked back yet, right? Your Orisa's now use gold. I look at this as an opportunity to heal the rest of my teammates. Okay. Still looking at the Orisa. Okay, now your Lucio's dead. Now your Ashe is dead over in some isolated 1v1 in spawn. This one you can't do anything about. That is what it is. All right? But all you've done is tunnel. Right? The only thing that's mattered to you at this point has been Orisa. See how you fall over to Orisa? Why, I see 3 people here, and you can see that they were there. Why not fade away? You can still heal your teammates. Your Orisa's already at full HP. Why are you so locked to this, right? Like, why? Just because you have, like, the tendril, lock-on thing on your orb doesn't mean you have to tendril onto somebody and get locked onto them. That's your problem right now. And I think it's just 2 things that you can easily fix, and that's your play style. If you want to play this play style, build around it. 2, you just tunnel vision really hard and you forget about everybody else in your team. And while you want to look at your teammates and be like, hey, my teammates need to improve, they need to play better, I think, like, there's a lot of room for improvement for you that will enable your teammates. And when you enable your teammates to pop off, you pop off. It's one of the reasons why I used to like playing a lot of off-tank. Obviously, I still play a lot of the off-tanks, is that I was able to help my teammates pop off, which then in return helped me pop off, which then leads to more victories. Team game. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that I'm not going to go play Mortar and Tunnel Vision either. I'm sure I will. But it's how much you lessen it and when you pick your moments to do that Tunnel Vision. And that's been the problem. Okay? Yep, you can throw a healing orb. There you go. Now what you would do is you can reposition in this situation. Ooh, I'll be honest, that was a great javelin. Good healing orb, a nice job. This is the right idea for now. That was just a good shot by Kiriko. I'm not even mad with that one. This part of the point is a soldier in spawn still. I want to reiterate that. There is still a soldier in spawn. Actually, your team should have won this a while ago because their soldier has not helped once. They've been in spawn just trying to kill your Ashe the whole time. I guess your Ashe is out of the team fight. Now they're going to come back. No, they're not going to come back. Well. So this part, huge recommendation I have is don't fall off the map. And honestly, you could argue it went back to your tunnel vision again. You were so worried about what was in front of you there and not, like, putting yourself in a better spot that you just went right off the map. It's been a long team fight. It's been a very long team fight here. That was kind of you're running back to point. Well, a small bit of advice here. If your teammates are established on point, you don't need to waste all your cooldowns in the middle of the point to be a free target. Your teammates were fine for a little bit there. You had time to give yourself some vision of the map. Okay, you'll be back up again. Just be careful for a second, right? Like, your wrist is fine right now. Okay, now out. Don't be afraid to use your fade. Okay? Yep. Also, your movement was rough there. It was an easy kill for Orisa, or easy jab. Actually, you could argue that you probably should take that ability because you're getting tunneled even harder and you forget they even exist there. That one's fine. You were going to point. You could have waited longer though, and then like touch points like at the same time. But I can understand late game. That might be a little bit of a difficulty. I can see that. It's been a long team fight though. I've had team fights like this. There you go. And that's that. So, I'll summarize this very quickly for you. Yeah, your problem, you tunnel vision. So work on the tunnel vision. Work on, building around your playstyle or trying a new playstyle. But this ain't like a teammate issue. This isn't a matchmaking issue. This is, you have a bit of a playstyle adjustment that you need to fix. And if you do so, you'll climb. So look at a lot of the advice we gave you, and you'll be good to go. I'm telling you, there's a lot of room for improvement, and that's a good thing. Because when there's room for improvement, when you can see those gains and that progression, maybe quicker than then if you have a little bit less to work on. So you got this, all right? If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTubes if you haven't. Leave a comment, all of it helps. Discord, where you see my stuff. And yeah, if you want to watch more of our videos like this, look at the little square here. You'll see the video. Just stop by if you haven't. Have a lot of fun here. Or watch the video. These outros are great. Hope you all have an amazing day. Flash night.